First and foremost, welcome to our very first student spotlights. I couldn't be more excited, super excited to have Michael on board. Michael, you were one of the very first students in rental property pro years ago. It's been an absolute pleasure and honor to be on this journey with you. I'm excited to hear your story, all the ups, all the downs, all the successes, all the failures of how you've gotten to this point, which you've created a lot of success in a very short amount of time. But let's kick this thing off. Introduce yourself. What do you do for a living? And what kind of drove you in this direction to rental property investing? How did we get here?
Well, yeah, I'm Michael, and I'm a CPA. A lot of people think about CPAs as tax people, but I don't do taxes. I do more audit, financial statements for companies, and that's kind of my main job. But I'm a consultant, so I do it for a lot of different companies. Me having a job in one company, it just never works out. I don't know. In the end, I don't know.
Fair
I
enough.
had I was a former Big Four audit manager with Deloitte, so that was a great job. But that gave me the kind
Wow.
of base to kind of just do what I want to do now.
Yeah.
And I've always been interested in real estate, yeah. So I bought properties in the past. I bought a condo, to live in with my first ex-wife. And that was okay. And then we sold it, kind of broke even. And then I bought another
Yeah.
condo in Florida. I tried to get into the real estate thing and but I was living in England at the time and just trying to
Oh,
manage
wow.
that. I didn't have a property manager, and then I had students living there, and then my dad got a call at like 6 in the morning that there's water leaking through the ceiling, and I'm like in England, and I'm like, okay, what do we do here? So I mean, we kicked them out, and I kept their deposit and fixed it, but then I got rid of that, had a small profit, but that was just like trying to get into the real estate game, and then we have a mutual friend, Sabrina,
Yeah.
which pointed me your way. Said, go to John, and John knows what you want to do. John can help you out with. I'm like, all right, cool. So I just signed up for the program. I said, whatever it is, let's go, and we started. And yeah, I mean, I purchased so far. I have 4 rental properties. Which I'm getting all refinanced by the end of this month. So we're
Yeah.
trying
It's
to struggle
crazy.
to get we're getting the appraisals done right now, and the bank is lined up, and all the people and all the forms and whatever. So by
Perfect.
the end of the month, we got to get the thing refinanced. And then I have 2 fix and flips actually as well. One of them is on the market right now, and we're just managing it, trying to get it sold. But it's a turn. It's just it. We renovated the whole thing, and it's a great
Yeah.
property. So in a great area, so I'm positive it's going to sell. We have another property that should be done by the end of this month, and then we'll get that on the market as well. And then I just keep looking for other properties as we move along, to keep making offers. So that's my
Yeah.
real
That's
estate
awesome.
story so far.
That's great. I mean, 6 properties in the last basically what, year and a half? Is that how long it's been?
About a year and a half. Yeah, about a year and a half. Yeah.
About a year and a half.
So
That's awesome. And that's right on track. I know obviously everybody wants to do more, right? But one a quarter is kind
I
of the
am.
goal. You're nailing it right on the head, and that's including, just coming out of, you're as a CPA and a consultant, like, I'm sure you're working at least 40, 50 hours a week is my guess, right?
Yeah, it's a lot of hours that you put into that, but also you have to spend the time to put into looking for properties, and
Yeah.
I have alerts that come my way. I set it up in Redfin's been great. Redfin, it's
Yeah.
just
Share
been
more
great.
about that,
Like
like how you
I
found
get
your properties, because you're really
yeah,
good at putting in offers.
I do. I get multiple emails a day from Redfin. I just set your criteria, and as soon as something pops on, they send me an email, and I go, oh, I look at the subject line. I'm like, that's my target. That's my range. But the thing is that you want to make sure that you have, they call it a buy box, right? You want to make
Yep.
sure that you look at properties in a specific area with certain criteria. Mine is, I mean, I'm just focusing in on the Little Rock, Arkansas, Greater
Yep.
Little Rock, Arkansas. My, I'm looking between, 80,000 and 150,000 as a price. I like 3 bedroom, 2 bath, and I like properties over 1,300 square feet. So that's kind of my
Nice.
buy box. So
Yep.
when one of them pops on, I automatically go to the area. I go to Redfin. I have Real Flow, which is something that I got subscribed through you.
Yep.
Uh, use that to see, what properties, what the situation is. Is the property, an estate, part of an estate? Is there somebody that needs to get out of it quickly? And
Yeah.
then just analyze it, but I'm good that I think that translates from my CPA thing where I analyze stuff and my antenna goes up when I see stuff that doesn't make sense. I think it translates pretty well into the whole, yeah, property
Yeah, I mean,
seeing.
you're a numbers guy, right? So, that plays into it for sure. And just so I'm clear and I'm not mistaken, everything that you've bought to this point has been an on-market property, right? Like listed on the MLS, purchased with an agent. Is that right?
Yeah, I'd like to stay with it. I haven't gone the wholesaler route because
Yep.
it just seems sketchy. I'm sure there's deals.
Fair.
I don't know, but
Yeah,
sometimes these
there
guys
are
are like,
deals.
I don't know. I will get into that when I learn more. I don't think I'm at
Yeah.
that point, but right now MLS is kind of protected. You have brokers, you have agents, and they
Yep.
have to do everything according to rules mandated by the state. If they step out of line, they can get
Yep.
sued. They can get their
Yep.
license taken away. So we make sure that everything, and they do a lot of the work too. They make sure the whole process moves along, which helps
Yep.
me. I mean, they're making a commission, so they earn it. So I've done it through MLS, so far. Um, yeah, and but it's a lot of work, daily. I spend like 2 or 3 hours a day just looking at listing, just
That's
analyzing listings. And if I see one pop, I have a broker now. He's awesome. I just send it to him and he's very responsive and he'll tell me yes, no, or that has foundation stuff, stay away from that. I'm like, okay, good. And
that's
then
great.
we put offers in, even if
Yeah.
whatever the price is, like I use your rental property pro, the analyzer. That's been
Yep.
fantastic. Like that accumulates everything, all the
Yeah.
holding costs, the closing costs, the interest rate, the ARV, everything in terms of what you have to rehab your estimate. And you
Hmm.
can do that pretty quickly. Like within a half hour, you can do everything and just see if it makes sense or not.
Yeah. And you would say, like, this is just a numbers game, right? Like you've created relationships with agents, and, set up your search based on your buy box in Redfin. Those deals come over, you analyze them 20, 30 minutes, and the goal is just to get out as many offers as you can, regardless of your offer versus purchase price. It sounds like you're just putting out offers, right?
You never know what people accept. And you guys say this all the time, and it's true. I had one property I bought. We're renovating it right now. That's the second fix and flip. They had it at 150. They dropped it $25,000 like in one day.
Yep.
I'm like, all right, they're motivated. So I offered 101 and they took it. So I
Yeah.
got a property. So there was 150 in the
49,000.
morning and it was
Yeah.
101 in the evening because they took it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, this is awesome. They said yes. So we had a inspector go in, take a look at it, and we purchased it. Now it's being renovated and we're going to put it on the market. So
Yeah.
you just gotta, just put your number out there, whatever makes sense,
Yep. If you're
and
going to
that's
spend
it.
the
And
time to analyze the deal and figure out what number works for you, it's always worth putting it in because you can't be inside of the seller's minds, right? So you just need to take the shot. And the worst thing that they can say is no, or technically they can not even respond. But who cares, right? So at least you're putting your
if
hat in
they
the ring to potentially get it.
if they say no, you're in the same position as you were before you started. You don't have
100%.
anything, and that's it. And then sometimes you make an offer, and they say no, and I'm like, okay. And you have to be careful for your ego. You can't let your ego get, like if you're in a bidding war, don't do that because you'll
Nope.
lose. Somebody will come back, oh, well, somebody offered, like 120. Can you do that? I'm like, no,
Yep.
101.
Absolutely.
Sorry,
Yep. You
because it
you get
just
in that
doesn't make
mindset
sense.
of you get in that mindset, oh, it's only another $1,000 or it's only another $2,000. And then you wind up in a bad spot. So stick to your numbers ultimately.
Yes, I
Um,
think it's a good idea.
Now you and I have been, doing coaching calls for a year and a half, right? Troubleshooting things that you've been running into. You know, if, any of, our students today were to come to you and say, Michael, like what are some of the biggest things like roadblocks that you've run into that I need to be aware of as I'm starting this journey? What would that be?
Like roadblocks, I would say,
Problems, issues, stuff that popped up that you were like, oh wow, like I would like to have known that prior to or anything like that.
there's always a solution, I guess, to a problem. You just have to figure out what it is.
Yep.
The biggest block for me or problem was getting started in terms of financing. Like
Yeah.
I didn't have a track record, so I had to find the right people in my corner. And what's important is building a team around you that is like, they're knowledgeable and they're not full of it. And it's hard to, we're back.
Oh, there you go. You're back.
Um, la, that people are knowledgeable and they're not full of it and they try to sell you stuff. And the only way to do that is just kind of by interacting with a whole bunch of people and then figuring out who really kind of resonates with you or who kind of is looking out for you.
Hmm.
And I did that in the beginning and I found actually a lady who got me my first property financed. She was a broker. Now she's doing the refinance for me for all four properties. So she's always
That's
been
great.
like, Michael, it's the time now. You got to get out there and you can refinance these now because the property, values went up and I see that it's going to happen. So she's putting everything together. I have a property manager for properties, which was referred by you, and he's doing a great job.
Perfect.
Title companies, and it's just getting out, saying how am I going to start,
Yeah.
just finding the right people and also bouncing stuff off of coaches within this program. They always
Yeah.
saying you want to get on a call, take advantage of that. If you want four opinions, get four calls, one with each,
Yep.
get four opinions because they're willing to talk
Yeah.
to you. So I think that's fantastic, getting on the calls too. But with people who have actually done it, that's the most important thing. With anything in
Yeah.
life, whatever you want to do, just make sure they've done something, have a track record.
Absolutely. I think one of the most powerful things you said, like, yeah, I've run into roadblocks and problems and issues, but there's always a solution, right? You just got to figure it out, right? Whether that's by you doing a little trial and error, by talking to a coach or something like that, or adding a good team member like your lender onto your team to help you through purchases and refinances and stuff like that. So there's always a solution. You just can't get discouraged, right? So you just need to allow yourself to know that there's going to be some bumps down the road, but we just need to keep moving forward, right?
It's not. And they say like life's a heartbeat, right? It goes up and down. And
Yeah.
if it's a straight line, you're dead, right?
Yep. Absolutely.
It's
So
not going to be a
financing,
straight line upwards. Yeah,
yeah. So financing being like one of your challenges, which it is for almost every new investor, unless you're independently wealthy, right? It's like I think you found a really good lender, and then correct me if I'm wrong, but you did some private money lending raising, like you raised some private money from was it some people in the group or was it outside? I can't really remember.
I did.
How did you
Yeah,
get the
I did.
yeah.
I was at a point where I had money. I was making some pretty good money last year, and I just took all that money and that's how I have four properties. I put all my money into those properties as a down payment.
Okay.
And then I'm like, all right, I still want to do this, but I don't have the capital, for a down payment. And then I talked to you and also Tim,
Yeah.
and he's like, there's a lot of money out there. And I'm like, well, Tim, tell me where it is. I want to find it. I need to find some money because I want to keep going with this. And I see
Yeah.
properties daily. I want to do this, but so we kind of put a kind of a template together with the picture of the property, what I need, where it's located, what their return is going to be. And I did find somebody in the group who's willing to, just invest his money into a good property in a great area and get a fantastic return. Instead of your money sitting in an account, right, somewhere making 1 or 2%, or maybe in
Yeah.
stocks that you don't know what's going to happen. You'll get a definite great return. And that I'm going to continue to do that as we move down the road. So stay
Yep.
tuned. I'll be putting
Yeah.
stuff out there in the group as I find stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's you now have a proof of concept, right? Once you get like getting that first deal and working with that first private money lender and getting that first property refinanced, that's the first domino. Once that falls, then all of that upfront work that you needed to do, like 85% of it's done, right? The last 15 is just finding the property and managing the renovation because you know where to go for money, where for management, where to refinance, and that just makes the process that much easier. I love it. Um,
Taking action. Yeah.
yeah,
Take
yeah.
action.
And obviously you and I have had a really awesome relationship and I feel like you've like gotten a lot out of Rental Property Pro and the other coaches and the curriculum and whatnot. What do you feel like is the one thing that where you found the most or the one or a couple things where you found like the most value? Like is it coaching calls? Is it like where do you feel like was the biggest support system for you, right?
I think the support system, the coaching calls, I try to be on every one.
Yeah, you do.
At least the when we did the two a week, I was on those. The other ones I
Yeah.
try to be on, but just to see what people's issues are. But also I like to schedule one-on-one calls and just or sometimes I take my properties and I throw it out. I throw the address out there, and then because if I'm
Hmm.
kind of like I don't know, one of the deals actually I threw out there, Tim analyzed it and I thought it was okay, and then he's looking and he's like, well,
Ain't no damn
these
air, mama.
properties are like
I gotta
new
fix
and
this
you're
system.
looking at an older one, so it's not going to work. I'm like, all right, thank you.
Yeah.
So and there's a couple of deals that I've gotten into, I've secured, and then I just backed out because of the coaches in the group that have all this experience. So that's been huge, huge value.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, uh, I always say to, any new student, like, it's not, my job's to help you be successful, but it's not to make sure you be successful. What my job is 100% is to make sure you don't make a business ending decision, right? Like by picking the wrong property
Yes.
or, making a big mistake, right? I'd rather you know, not make any money than lose a boatload of money, right? Now, if we can not lose a boatload of money and make money at the same time, then we're winning, right? So that's the main goal there for sure. Um, any advice, from your journey from, kind of being in real estate part-time while you're, over the years, like buying condos and selling the homes that you live in to jumping
Mm.
in and being six properties deep to like someone who's new at this, like what nuggets would you give to them to kind of help them on this new journey that you got going on?
I would say don't rush into anything. Take your time, analyze properties. If you got questions, bounce them off the coaches, bring them onto the calls, talk about it. Because if they'll see pictures, you get people who have done this. Just show it to them, tell them what you're thinking, and then say, give me some feedback. And also, so far, I mean, I don't. I have the four properties that are rentals, and after this refinance, they'll be cash flowing. But before
Yep.
that, they weren't cash flowing because I've had high interest rates just to get into them. That's the thing. When you
Yep.
want to get into a property, you can go through these hard money lenders. I use Kiavi, but I have like a direct dial. Like I got a house. He's like, cool, let's go. Need 10%. I'm like, good. Okay, I got to get 10% and then put it down and then we can go. But they have a high interest rate. It's
Yep.
easy to get into, but they have a high interest rate and you have to refinance. So, and also the big thing is the after repair value. Make sure,
Yep.
I mean, you can't make sure, you can't be certain of anything, but look at the evidence of this houses in your area, not across a major highway, but really close to your area to see
Yep.
what those are sold at, because that's a great indicator because they'll have to appraise that house if you want to refinance it, which I'm going through now.
Yep.
Um, and it has to make sense in order to refinance the property into a lower rate and then make it cash flow. So um, that's kind of what I would say.
Awesome, man. While you were talking about that and I was kind of going over your story in my mind, it's like, you've done a really good job of creating relationships, getting properties sent to your inbox, analyzing and making offers. Like, what is that, if in your minds, like to get to this point where you have six properties, four rentals, two fix and flips, How many properties do you think you analyze a week, and how many offers do you think you make a week consistently on average, right? It's like, what does that look like for you on a weekly basis to kind of have gotten to this point?
Analyze, I try to analyze maybe, I mean, I look at properties, I'll spend like an hour or two, just looking at properties and trying to figure out what, because I get a lot of emails from them and there's a lot of
Yeah.
properties that go on. Um, so I try to do maybe one or two offers a week.
Okay.
Uh, because there's a lot of properties out there, but you just got to make sure of the ones that are going to make sense, Um,
Exactly. Yeah.
I probably could do more, but you don't want to get, I don't know. For me, I don't want to get crazy with my real estate agent. Like, all right, make an offer, make an offer, make an offer, because
You're
it
too
takes time for
kind.
him. And, I don't want to be the guy known as like the guy who just makes offers, like wacky offers, and then they reject. I just want to be the guy that makes a fair offer, and then if they accept it, that's great. If not, then that's okay. I'll be here, when you
Yep.
come back. Um, so I try to make like one or two offers a week. I
That's great.
analyze maybe I just keep the thing open. I keep the spreadsheet open. I pop numbers in, and then if the thing doesn't work out, then I'm like, it's not going to work, based on the,
Yep.
but if stuff does work, and you know what's going to be good because if you analyze areas, but the only way you can analyze an area and figure out the right price or is just by streets in an area, zip codes, like
Hmm.
targeted areas. When something comes in, something comes on in an area that I'm looking at. Even I have houses in those areas that have to refinance, or maybe there's a property that I have to sell. It just gives you a better indication of the market, so that when something
Yeah.
really does come up, that's like, wow, you can act like bang quickly. Like take 30 minutes, do your analyzer, call your broker, make an offer. He sends you the stuff. You can get an offer out within 2 hours of the thing coming out on property,
Yeah.
um, on the market. And that's kind of what I do.
I love it, man. That's awesome. So and all on market properties, which I think is just amazing. Everyone talks about, how hard it is to find deals and, yeah, they're just not, laying on every street corner. But, if you find consistency and, spend an hour or two every day and make offers, a couple offers a week, you can very easily get there. I love it. Now, the refinances are coming up. We should be getting some of these properties sold from the rehab standpoint. What are we going to do to celebrate? What's going to be the thing you're going to do to celebrate the success so far?
Celebrate. Well, I just dropped a link in the chat. Since we're on the call, I'm running
Oh yeah.
I'm running the Sydney Marathon. Since everybody's on the call, if they could just
Yeah.
click on the link and just donate
I'm
whatever
gonna
you
do it
can. I
right
have a
now.
deadline. Yeah, I have a deadline for
Today, right?
to raise 1,200. I have to raise $1,200 by yesterday, and I'm behind. So whatever you can give would be fantastic. Actually, the overall is 3,600, but that date is in like August 15th. But
That's in the future. Okay.
if I don't do this 1,200, they'll pull my entry. So
Oh man.
I have it's not a good thing. Yeah. So whatever you can give, I'd appreciate it. But celebrate. Yeah, I want to sell this property and maybe go on a mini cruise with the kids and wife. We're thinking about that. If I could get this house sold,
Yeah.
you know, I just take some cash and just fly everybody down, go on a weekend cruise and enjoy it. But I've been kind of just being very conservative, and you
Yeah.
don't want to go overboard. You want to spend, like, if you sell something and you don't want to spend all that money. I mean, you want to just kind of there's debt that has to be paid off as well. You have to borrow
Absolutely.
money from
Absolutely.
people. Maybe you might have some credit cards where you have to use those to buy some fixtures or some materials for the property. You got to take care of those and just get those wiped out and then just continue going forward.
Yeah.
But I think
Yeah.
that's what we'll do.
Absolutely. You don't want to use all your money because you are going to have to pay taxes at some point, but you got
And
to
you have to pay
celebrate a
taxes
little
as
bit.
well. Yeah, there
You
you
got to
go. But you
celebrate a
have to
little.
enjoy life. I mean, what are you doing? The goal for me is to build a portfolio
Yeah,
of
please.
properties so that, I can, leverage off of that as I get older and then also leave it for my kids, create a
Yeah,
legacy, you know.
I love that.
This
Do
is
you
what
have a
dad
cash
did.
flow number in mind that you're trying to get to through like buying real estate?
No, but
Not yet.
as soon as I cash flow, then I can kind of figure it out. It's like kind of one step at a time.
Yeah.
I do have those four properties. I want to increase that, portfolio and just get some cash flow. I mean, living on the cash flow properties right now is not it's not a good thing, and it probably
Yeah.
won't happen. But I think it's going to take me, I don't know, maybe like 10 years of doing this to get at a
Okay.
point where it would generate enough cash flow for me to say, okay, time
Yeah.
to relax a bit.
Just full retirement. Yeah. And one thing that you will find out as well too is, with the relationships that you've created, the experience that, you're gaining, like, it's a snowball rolling downhill, right? The first year is always the biggest learning curve, and then it gets easier and easier, and more opportunities will be presented to you. And at the end of the day, you're thinking like, hey, if every year is like this first year, right, it's going to take me 10 years, right? But it's the process is going to get smoother, the cash flow is going to get bigger, and that timeline will certainly be cut down. But I'm excited to
Yeah.
see that success. It's going to be fun.
That's if you start, it's a business, right? It's a business. You're
Yeah.
starting a side business and
Yep.
you're the person, if you don't act or you don't make sure the business keeps running forward, going forward, it's just going to stop and or you'll be in trouble. So you just got to keep the thing going. It's like a big boulder. You just got to get some momentum, pushing it.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
absolutely, Michael. Well, man, it has been an absolute honor. I know we're over a half an hour, and I want to, respect your time, for sure, for taking the time out of the day to come and chat with us and share your story. I hope you guys got as much out of it as I did. Michael, you've not clearly seen the path always, but you've always said, I'm going to take action anyways. And I might not have all the answers, I might not know everything I need to know, but you've trusted the process, the system, you've taken action, and you've had amazing success, man. And congratulations on all your hard work. I'm super proud of you. Now everybody go and donate, for Michael, for the American Cancer
Click on the
Society.
link.
It's a good cause.
Click on the
Good luck.
link and share. Yeah.
When's the race, did you say?
Race is going to be August 31st in Sydney.
Oh, all right.
So
There's a
we got to
vacation for
raise.
you.
That's a goal, right? That's a goal.
Yep.
I have several goals during the year, and you talk about words. Like I have a word of the year. Last year was action. So I took action.
Ah, well, yes, you did. That's you.
This
You
year
lived up
is
to that word.
scale.
Okay, I like it.
Starting.
Cool.
I don't know if it's gonna. That might have to carry into next year, but
That's okay.
we have the momentum going. Like I said, it's a big boulder, but we'll see, as we move along. So
Yeah,
go with the
absolutely.
flow.
You can certainly have the same theme for multiple years in a row, until you get to where you want to be. So you
No,
certainly take action, and now it's time to scale, man.
I appreciate you and Rental Property Pro and all the coaches. Everybody here has been fantastic, and I'm honored to be the first one
I
that
know.
you're
I'm honored to
interviewing for
have
the
you.
spotlight. I
Yeah,
think it's
it's been
it's
awesome.
fantastic. And I'm here to support anybody else. Like I've been through it. I've been through it for a year. If I can help anybody, please DM me. I don't. I'm happy to get on a call or whatever I can contribute or point you in the right direction. Usually I say just go ask the coaches. They're much more experienced than me, but
You're pretty experienced at this point in time. I would take your advice. So I would say you're heading in the right direction.
all right, cool.
Well, good stuff, guys. Thanks again, Michael. It's been a pleasure. Hopefully, you guys got a lot out of this. I will be posting this inside the group so everyone can watch it and get inspired, just like I know you guys all are. Other than that, guys, have a fantastic Friday and a safe weekend. Enjoy, and thank you guys very much. I'll see you guys later.